Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to Farming Simulator 2017, and welcome back to Maplewood Farm. So we don't have a lot of farming to do today. We've got some other things to do. If we look down in the lower part of the map, all of our fields are seeded now, at least the ones that we own that are seedable. We've got some grass fields too. Obviously we didn't seed those, but 51, 55, 58, and 59 have all been seeded, and field 44 up on the side, on the sort of the west coast or the west side of our property, that's been seeded, and everything has been plowed. If I can get to it, yep. Everything has been plowed, and everything has been triple fertilized, so we're good to go there. I went ahead and fast forwarded to, this is now the morning of the second day, so we finished up the afternoon of our first day. So we're starting our second day. And I wanted to show you something else. So I mentioned in the first episode that Lancyboi typically, I could be wrong about this, but this is at least what I've picked up on his maps. They have like a very, like a serpentine route to get from one point on the map to another, and everything is sort of spread out. You have to take the long way, but then there's always kind of a shortcut. So we are on our main farm. See if I get a cursor here. We're on our main farm right here, and we're going to buy cows, and we're going to take them to our dairy farm. Now you can see as the crow flies, it's really not that far. It's only a few hundred meters. But to get to it, we either have to go down around this way, right? Or we have to go over and up around this way. There is a bit of a shortcut right through here, but I'll show it to you, and I'll show you why I really like Lancyboi maps as much as I do. So we got a flatbed, and we've got bales on it, straw bales, and we've got grass, and we've got cow food, power food. We bought that because we don't have anything to feed our cows with yet, but I do want to get our dairy operation going today. So I went ahead and bought this thing. It's probably too big for the map, this trailer. It's just, I think it's going to be too big. Getting it in here and moving it around the map, possibly too big. But we can always downsize. We can always sell it. Even just getting out of the yard, it's going to be too big. And we've also got, oh, clear it, yes. We've also got, you can see on the front of our 7R Euro, we do have a front loader. This is, in fact, let me show this to you before we go any further. This is the one that comes with, right? And it's built specifically for this tractor. Comes with its own tools. It is more realistic, and it's got this beautiful dynamic hose setup. So yeah, man, the 7R Euro. I don't know where you get your mods, but if you Google or whatever search engine you use, FS17 John Deere 7R Euro, you'll get this tractor. Right, so the first route we're going to take is I would call it the southern route. It's kind of long, but there's really, well, you'll see on the way back. You can either go around the top of the map or you can go around the bottom of the map. But there's not, narrow road, there's not really a way to use the shortcut through the center of the map if you have any type of a big implement or trailer on the back of your tractor. Come on. Yeah, so this trailer is probably too big for this map. And I said this a couple episodes back, this map is fascinating to me because it's not, the fields aren't small, so you kind of want to use bigger equipment, but the actual layout and structure of the map is so tight that you really can't use big equipment. So I feel like these are two 7 Series tractors that we have. I feel like they're just about as big as we could ever use on this map. I don't know if an 8 Series would even be appropriate. And then as far as the length of something like this trailer, right, it's almost too big. And even with the dolly and being able to sort of pivot it around corners, it's a fascinating map. And I'm trying to like tease this out a little bit, but I'll show you one of what I think of as a typical Lancyboi shortcut through the middle of the map. I'll show it to you on the way back. And what's sort of fascinating about it, and what really impresses me about map makers, like, I guess it's almost like music, like playing music. Like, anybody can learn how to make the notes, right? This is an A, this is a B, whatever. And then some people can learn to either play other people's music or to create their own music, and they do that by playing the notes, right? I'll put the notes where the notes go. Okay, I'm playing music. But there's nothing, you know, it doesn't do it for you. There's not... Interesting. What's snagging here? Is that our blades? Is that our pallet blades? Could be. So technically you're making music because you're playing the notes and you're putting them in the right order, right? That's music. But, you know, there's nothing special about it. It's not, it doesn't do it for you. And I feel like and this is going to sound, I mean, you know what my channel's about by now. You know how I get down. To me, the artistry of map making and what makes these maps so amazing is it's not just the technical stuff, right? Like making sure that the road texture is stuck to the terrain layer. That's technical stuff. That's like knowing how to play the notes. And I did, when we brought our drill up last night, I forgot to close this gate, so I'll close it now. Right? Like, that's the technical stuff. You know, getting all your scripts working together so the map functions, right? Or, like, this map has the compost master, so you need to put in compost as a fill type. That's all technical stuff. That's knowing how to play the notes. And that's cool, you know? But it's not... It's like it's not quite done yet. But when I show you some of these cutoffs and trying to make them work with something behind your tractor, to me, that's when the real, like, artistry, there's no other word for it, that's when the real artistry of a map comes out. Because it's not just the technical stuff. It's when you make a map that has like a feeling to it, that has sort of unique challenges to it, and a map that is frustrating, but in a good way. You know, it's amazing to me what map makers can do, and I have so much respect for them. And I've tried it. I've tried to make a couple maps, and I got to the part where I could make a map technically function, but it was so flat and so boring and so predictable that I didn't really even bother finishing it. I knew I didn't have the skill and I didn't have the expertise to get that map to feel like something, you know, to give you a sense of place and almost reality. So it's It's amazing to me what these folks do, and I cannot believe they give it away. After all that work, they give it away. So this is what I would call the southern route around, and I know it seems like it's almost ridiculous because the dairy is so close as the crow flies. Like, why would we need to go all the way down here? This is crazy. But there's really no... Well, there's only, I guess, three routes. And the top one and the southern one and the northern one, I guess, is what I'm calling them. They're tricky enough as it is, and then the one across the middle, I have to say it's like nigh impossible if you've got anything on your tractor. Even the one that we're on, you'll see there's a couple places where it's like, it's so tight that it's... If we had anything more than what we have now, it would not be possible to get through it. And what I love about this is 100% intentional. And I think that is awesome. Like, there's no way you make a map this devious accidentally. there's just too much thought and too much effort put into it. Slow down a little bit here. There's too much thought put into it. It's too consistent, and it's just, I don't want to say it's obvious, but like, this is clearly a map that is designed to challenge you, and that doesn't happen accidentally. Right, so now we're back on pavement, over the cattle gate. We'll just go right up the road here. So yeah, we're going to take the food over first. Now, I did take over, I've got, 12 bales on here? I took over 12 bales earlier and stacked them in the barn. The yard at the dairy is going to be tricky. This is going to be tricky too. So let's lock in some hubs. Oh dear. Oh dear. Come on. Come on. I feel like I need to get a run at it. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to back up a dolly. Down a hill with a load on. Let's see how this goes. Trying not to jackknife everything here. Ah, yeah. That's all we're getting. Okay. We're not getting any. There we go. We can keep our momentum. No, not going to happen. Well, we got a couple choices. We can try to turn this thing around. I mean, we are making progress, but we don't have this kind of time. Well, I mean, I feel like we're... No, that is absolutely not going anywhere. Okay, welcome to More Realistic. If you don't like being frustrated, do not play with More Realistic, because it is an absolute frustration factory. That is hopelessly jackknifed. Let's try this. Let's, no, it's not even going to give it to us. Let's try this. I hate to do this. We're going to turn off Gearbox just to get up this hill. We should probably put it in forward gears. There we go. And we may, with Gearbox off, we may or may not be able to get up this hill either way because of More Realistic, but I like our odds. You like that realistic farming? I like the realistic farming, but it does make me crazy, man. Whew. I was thinking, you know, we could swap out tractors, we could unhook this dolly, we could go rent a lorry, we could like do a lot of things, and in the interest of keeping things moving, let's just go with the quick fix and momentarily disable Gearbox. Right. And if you're not using Gearbox, or if you've never used it, there is a function, and essentially you just turn it off. Now it turns it off for all your tractors. It doesn't turn it off just for the one that you're in. So be aware of that you can't disable it for one vehicle and have it in others. It turns it off globally. But it's, I mean, you saw as we just did right there. It's a quick fix when you need it. So that's done. Now, as I was saying before, devious. This is a devious and challenging map, and looking at, you know, how to get this trailer around to the dairy farm, there's only a couple ways to do it. You can go to the north, you can go to the south, or you can go across the center, and that applies for, I mean, obviously whatever it is that you want to take over there. We could take these bales over one at a time. We'd still have to go one of those three routes, The difference is if we took them one at a time, we could go across the middle a little bit more easily, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. So, and once again, I would hate to live in, well, really either one of those houses, but it's the price you pay for living in the beautiful countryside. Right, is that it? Almost went right past it. So here is the dairy already. Set the brake. Out we go. And this is what I mean when I say I think this trailer might be too big, because this is the space that we have to work with. And then particularly when you get back here, like stacking up these bales, I actually had to back in from all the way out here. So facing out with my bales on the front, I had to back in, right? Come around this way, then back in here, and then drop the bales. So I think a telehandler with four-wheel steering might be a little more sort of advantageous back there. Really, I think the thing that would work the best is the skid steer. The problem is we're going to have a feed mixer, and you can't get things into a feed mixer with the skid steer. It's not tall enough. So I'm going to get this turned around and drop it. And I have not fed the cows yet. Well, we don't have any cows yet, but I haven't put any food in, and I'd like to do that before I buy the cows. So I'm actually going to leave that hooked up. Unhook that. And let's get one pallet of power food dropped off into the trough so we can at least figure out where it is. So I'm going to unhook that. I'm going to unhook that. And then go this way. Don't think it's over here. Nope. So we've got, I always forget which of these is food and which is water. I want to say this is food, and that one out in the pasture is water. Now, I also noticed, and this is sort of a new thing in Farm Sim, I also noticed that out at the pigs there was an option to buy plumbing into the water trough. And that should have been done at 6 o'clock this morning, I think. That we would have plumbed in water to our pigs, which is awesome. But I don't know if now once that's done that we can then do the same thing for cows, or if that's kind of a one-off. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't know if the plumber has to finish there and now they're available to work here, or if it covers both, right? Like if we get the pigs done, does it cover the cows as well? Because I didn't see the dialog box at the dairy to know whether or not we have that option here as well. And I think this tractor is big enough that we won't tip over. And we don't. Fantastic. So now, let's figure out where to get this dropped off. Game save. And another reason I want to do, turn these beacons off, another reason I want to do this now is I want to know where to be able to drop the grass off as well. And then by process of elimination, we'll know if we know where the food trough is, then by process of elimination, we know where the water trough is. Unless, by plumbing in the pigs, we have plumbed in the cows as well. And I don't know, but we'll find out. So, I mean, I guess while we're here, I'm pretty sure this is water, but I guess while we're here, we'll at least bring this over, and that is food. Okay. So now we gotta figure out where the water is. Right. We'll find it. But I'm also, we have that big 3-axle Bowser, and I'm feeling like that is a mistake. I think that's too big. Right. Set the brake. Close the gate. There you go. Get that up out of the way. Probably could have had it up there. Back here. Probably could have had those pallet forks positioned that way on the drive over. Much safer. Right. Close the gate. There we go. Right, so I've teased this enough. On the way back, we're going to take the shortcut across the middle of the map, and you'll see what I mean. Hopefully you'll see what I mean when I say I don't know that you could ever use it if you had really anything of any length on the back of a tractor. And it's, again, it's obviously designed that way, but in a good way. It's very clever. It's a very clever sort of trickery. And I like that in maps. That's the tight driveway down to field 44 right there. We've got one tight turn here with pylons. Now I did notice the pylons, at least the ones by the farm, do not have collision. And I'm not going to abuse that. Right, let me pause right here and show you something. So, if you look at the mini-map, and I can even make it bigger, if you look at the mini-map, we're by field 39, and right on the other side of field 39, right on the other side of field 39 is this road right here. Let me get a light on. Is this road right here. And this goes down around to the farm. But I cannot find a way to get back to this road. And I think there is a gate in this wall over here maybe, but to do that we would have to drive across a field that we definitely don't own. Right, like we would have to come up here and then come out, but we don't own field 42 at all. So there's another, I guess what I would think of as a public way further up, but when you see the entrance, it'll all make sense. Hopefully it'll all make sense. So this is what I'm thinking of as the center cutoff, the center shortcut. But it looks like it's pretty specific as far as when and how you can use it. So across field 38, field 39, I can't find a viable workaround. Field 42 we don't own, so it can't cut across there yet. Now when we buy it, I mean, I guess that's a different story, and maybe that'll be the next field that we buy. But look at this turn here. And there's even a rock there. So this will get us back to sort of the back entrance to our farm, but I can't imagine making that turn, like I said, with anything of any significance on the back of your tractor. So save some time when we're deadheading, but that's about it. Now, if you're playing this map and you found another shortcut, and if you want to, let me know where it is. But if you want to keep it a secret, I totally get that. I really do. Ugh, bouncy. My kidneys. So there's field 40, and then field 42 is sort of right in front of us. And back this up just a little bit so we clear the gate. Brakes on. Open this one. It's just quicker this way rather than hopping in and out twice. That one. I was in the trigger for the tractor when I hit the, come on, jump. I was in the trigger for the tractor when I hit the close gate button, and it's the same command, so threw me back in the tractor. You'll have that. Right. How we doing on time? Perfect. So I'm going to take this back. We're back at the main farm, more or less. Gonna make a turn in here on the left, and then we'll be in the yard. And, oh, almost took something else out. It's been a morning, man, I'll tell you what. So I'm going to park this right here, and I may do it off camera, depending on how we're doing on time, but one of the 7s, either this one or the other one, I will use to take the Bowser over to water our cows. And I did get, I'll show you this here quickly, I did get everything put away. Now, we are really taking a beating on frame rate right now. It could be because we have all these implements right next to each other, but we're down to like 20, 22 FPS. As soon as we turn around, it jumps back up to almost 40, so that's, I've heard that called yard lag, and I think that's a fantastic description of it. That is what happens when you put all your toys in the same box, I guess. Right. Over here at the animal market, we have a rented, is it the Maplewood trailer? And we've got our other 7, and we've got a dolly underneath there. And we've got 14 cows on board. So first time over, we took the, get this open, get a little air for our cows. First time we went around, we took the southern route, right? The bottom of the map. This time we're going to go around to the north. And that'll be all 3. Those are, as far as I've found anyway, those are the 3 ways to get from one side of the map to the other. To the left, to the right, or across the center. Obviously, we could not take this the way we just came, because we would not be able to make the turn out onto the highway after we came off that little single track. But what's interesting is we're barely going to make the turns on the road with this rig. So this map really is, it's really a map for small equipment or to drive very, very slowly and carefully if you have bigger equipment. It is, yeah, it's just incredibly tight. But in a good way. It's not, I've seen some, I don't know, I guess they're like gag maps, you know, that you see every now and then. They're just, you can tell they're just kids clowning and, you know, crazy elevation gains or you know, weird stuff. They're not serious maps. But what I like about the tight turns and the way everything's laid out on this map is it seems like it's got a lot of thought put into it, and it's really, really challenging, and it really makes me think like, okay, how am I going to do this? What's the best way to do this? And the best way really would be to have a smaller trailer and just make more trips to pick up the animals. But I wanted to sort of explore a little bit and experiment a little bit with longer trailers through some of these tight turns. But it's not... is this our turn? No, I always miss it. This is our turn right here. But I can't stress enough that as challenging and as, in some ways, annoying... I tried to swing wide and ended up kind of high centering myself on my weight, I think. As... Come on. There we go. Four-wheel drive and get through here. As tricky as this is, it's never annoying. It's very challenging, but it's not annoying. Oh, tight. Back on pavement, so we'll take off the four-wheel drive. And we've got just a couple of tight turns. So this way is actually shorter than going around to the south. And it's got similar turns, but it doesn't have a hill. It does not have a hill like we came up, so I guess you could say of the two, this is maybe the better route. And I think I said already that the pavement is very narrow, and if you put a wheel off to the left or the right, it really tends to sort of jerk the tractor or the vehicle around. So the collision on the edge of the roads is definitely present. Like if you put a wheel off, you really feel it straight away. Kind of like that. Our poor cows back there, man, being traumatized. Now this is the livestock trailer and the dolly are both rented, so I'm going to take these back, and depending on how we're doing on time, I may take water over at that point, over to the cows. I may call it an episode. We'll see. So, yeah, there's no collision on these pylons, but this is, in a realistic world, this is too tight a turn to be taking this trailer through, because we're clipping through those pylons unintentionally. I don't like to take advantage of maps like that, but fortunately there is no collision because we would have got hung up there. So both the trailer, the flatbed trailer, and this livestock trailer, too big for this map, but I did want to test a little bit. And the results of that test is they are too big. This is a gorgeous map, though. Alright, so we've got one more tricky turn into the dairy. Fortunately, that wall does swing out a little bit to the left. Sorry, the other one to the right. So that works out. So we'll make our turn here. And then we have one more challenge. I can back up a dolly trailer. Moment. I can back up a dolly trailer, but I don't know if we have that kind of time. I can do it, but it takes a while. So, what I plan to do, if I can, what I plan to do is try to turn around in the yard to get back behind this sort of facility, and then turn again and come forward, and then on the way through the livestock trigger on the way forward, that's when we'll unload. So step one of my cunning plan is to get this thing turned around. Okay, step one is successful. Step two, and this is, I don't know if this is going to work. Step two. This could could be the end of the episode right here, because if this doesn't work, I'm just going to have to, I don't know, something. Step 2 is to get through here. Oh. Sweet baby Jesus. Okay, and then step 3 is we're going to go over here and turn around in this, looks like a placeable area, almost. We're going to turn around here and do that all sort of in reverse and drop our 14 dairy cows off on the way back through. So, now here's a question. Do I want to do this? I think as long as any part of my rig is in the trigger, I think it counts as being in the trigger. Let's do this. Let's turn on our box here. We're in the animal dialogue. You know what I want. I want the tailgate, the come on. I want the doors of the animal trailer to be in the trigger when we unload. It's the only realistic option. Still in the animal dialogue. Oh, come on. Scrape. We're just going to have to drag it along the side there and pay a mighty fee when we return this thing. Sorry about the damage to your trailer. Alright, let's start to ease through there. Still in the dialogue box, still in the dialogue box. Before we go any further, let's unload these cows. Unload. All 14. Confirm. Yes, we just bought 14 cows. So now we can get rid of that. Oh. Now what are we caught on? Oh. I had a feeling this was too big, but I did want to confirm. We have confirmed it is absolutely too big. Now we need to make one more turn over here and head back out. Okay, well, we'll know for next time, and if you were curious, now you know. Very, very tight map. So, let's head through here. There you go, we got cows. Beautiful. Let's get this returned and head back to the farm. And depending on how we're doing on time, I suspect I will have to do the water off camera. I think we're going to run out of time, but that's fine. And what I may do, yeah, let's do that. I'll return this thing, we'll end the episode, and then I'll just save the game right there. And when we come back, it will be getting the animals all set up on straw, grass, and water. Okay, so we'll do that for next week. Right, and it's going to sound ridiculous when I say this, but it's just as tight going back the other way. Hey. It's a good map, though. It's a beautiful map, and I'm really, really glad I came across it. Particularly this close to the end of Farm Simulator 2017. And we're just a few months out from FS19, and if I had not seen this one I did, I don't know if I ever would have had a chance to play it. I'm sure somebody will port it over to 19 if it's possible to do that. And actually, yeah, we can talk about that a little bit on the way back to the store to return this. I haven't heard yet whether or not you'll be able to port things over. I mean, I know it takes some effort, but it is possible to switch things over from 15 to 17. I have not heard yet whether or not it will be possible to port things over from 17 to 19. I mean, I guess in an ideal world, you wouldn't have to port them at all. They would automatically work, but I guess the problem with that is it would sort of imply that there had not been significant enough changes to the game made to require updating the mods. So that maybe sort of cuts both ways, you know. It's more convenient as far as getting all your mods working again, but it indicates that maybe there have not been really significant changes to the game. So probably better that we do have to port things over. But I guess what I'm getting at is, will we be able to use FS17 mods on FS19 after we port them over? Will that be possible at all? I haven't heard any word on that yet. And I guess the other thing is, you know, depending on how they change the game and what they do to it, at a certain point it's like, well, would you even want to? You know, if the game is updated significantly enough or dramatically enough that it sort of leaves FS17 behind, would you even want to mess with FS17 mods, or would you just want to create new ones for FS19? Don't know. But either way, I'm glad I saw this map when I did. I'm glad we get to play it. So, carefully. Try to get this right in here. Let's see how we do it. I'd like to sell the trailer. Well, not sell it, but return it. I'd like to return the trailer first. Perfect. And then the dolly. Nope. Okay, so get rid of that. Turn that. Perfect. And yeah, let's run this back to the farm. How are we doing on time? Nope, we won't run it back to the farm. We're at 43 minutes. We're going to call it. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Farming Simulator 2017 from Maplewood Farm. And we'll see you next time. Take care.